My story of what ifs is going to take us on a journey that I have experienced over the last 6 years. A journey that I never planned, but a journey that now defines me. My what ifs are actual examples of forks in the road. When I first met my husband Akbar, we had a dream that we shared together, a dream that we wanted to adopt a baby girl from Pakistan. But never in my wildest dreams did I ever imagine that I would be sharing my story with you today. To start my journey, I'd like to take you back to the mountainous region of Pakistan. What if my daughter's birth mother, Zara's birth mother, had not walked from the mountainous region 6 hours to a hospital in order to deliver her baby in a safe environment? What if I'd resigned myself to the fact that I could never have children after having so many miscarriages? And what if I'd never had the 4 months of love that I did from Zara? And also, what if I'd never had a husband that shared the same passion for adoption as I did? I always wanted to be a mother, and I didn't mind which came first, biological or adoption. Once we started the process to adopt, I was so frustrated I couldn't understand why it was taking so long to get a baby girl from Pakistan. After all, so many are abandoned every year. My heart was just pining to meet my daughter. I remember the first time I held Zara in my arms. She was a couple of hours old. She had jet black hair, pale skin, bright red lips, and for a very small baby, had quite long legs. And she looked at me, and I knew she accepted me. The love I had for her, I can't really describe it. It was so deep within, a love of utter completeness, and a love that made my heart burst with pride and emotion. I was never not with Zara. I was the type of mother who did the co-sleeping. I loved to feel her breath on my skin as I lay next to her, side by side. We had a bond, and I know she felt it too. And then, the unimaginable happened. For 17 days, my daughter Zara fought for her life in an ICU in Dubai, with every organ in her body failing. Yet she had the will and determination to keep fighting. Her liver failed, her kidney failed, and her body bloated to the size of a toddler, but her heart kept strong. We were waiting for the doctors at Tuam Hospital to come back with her diagnosis. A couple of hours later, they came back and diagnosed Zara with glutaric acidemia type 2, a rare form of metabolic disorder that is so rare it occurs 1 in 250,000 babies. Within a couple of hours of her diagnosis, Zara's heart beat for the last time. And my daughter, aged 4 months, slipped away and became a shooting star. My heart had literally been pulled out of my chest, and my soul had died. I had watched my daughter for 17 days die, was in pain, and I was helpless. I couldn't do anything. She was helpless. This was not what mothers are supposed to do. Mothers are supposed to protect and save and do everything they can for their child. But I couldn't. And then I watched my husband bury our daughter. 120 days. 120 days is all I got with my daughter. After all that time of waiting for her, I only got 120 days. Why her? Why us? Why my family? But the biggest what if of all is what if Zara had lived? You see, Zara died because she had never received a newborn screening test at birth. That's why we struggled in vain for 4 months to save her life. But Zara had a message and a clue for her parents to follow. When we adopted Zara at birth, we'd researched every possibility there was of any sickness, and we'd researched all the tests that she might need in order to give her the best start of life. But I had never, and let me stress never, heard of a newborn screening test. And I'm sure many parents in the audience today have not heard of that test too. I mean, why would you? This is a doctor's prerogative doctor should give this test mandatory at birth. But the doctors in Pakistan had either not heard of newborn screening or simply didn't have the infrastructure to do so. My daughter was denied her birthright. When Zara was 2 weeks old, we brought her back to Dubai. And like any new parent, I wanted to go for a second opinion. So we found a pediatric doctor in Dubai. And for the first time in my life, he asked me, has she had a newborn screening test? To which I said no, and he shrugged it off, said it didn't matter, and swiftly moved on. But what if he had tested her? Would she be alive today? Zara was a fighter. She'd fought through so much in her short life to be loved and to give love. But as her mother, our biggest journey was just about to start, and you can even say, side by side. Through the heartache comes love, through the pain comes hope, through the darkness comes light, and through the fear comes faith. No truer word rings true than it does today, as my husband and I are the founders of an organization we set up in our daughter's name, the Zara Bow Foundation, based in Pakistan, with one mission to save every baby born in the country and provide them with a newborn screening test. We are the only independent and free screening facility in the country. And Zara's team honor her every day by educating doctors, parents, midwives, and hospitals the importance of screening your baby. Pakistan has an annual birth rate of 4.2 million babies. Can you believe that's the entire population of New Zealand? They also have the highest infant mortality rate than any other country in the world. The babies of Pakistan have simply been neglected when it comes to healthcare, especially newborn screening. Unlike the West and developed countries, where screening is mandatory at birth. But what if I'd known this before I adopted Zara? So what is newborn screening? Well, it's a simple blood test taken from a baby's heel between 48 and 72 hours old when the baby has digested milk. This was originally founded in Europe and proved not only to save countless babies' lives, but also so the child didn't become a burden on the government's healthcare later in life. Nearly every country in the world provides newborn screening. It either has a facility to do so or it's done within a hospital. In Dubai, babies are tested and their samples are sent to either Saudi, Germany, Jordan, or America. At the start of our journey to establish newborn screening, we were so fortunate enough to partner with 3 incredible companies who all had the same mission as us, to save babies. The first donated a newborn screening machine, which if we had bought today would have cost us $500,000. And I'm pleased to say, because of the incredible team, the work that our team have done, they've just donated their second machine. Our other partner provides specialized milk for sick babies, reducing protein and dairy intake, which once a child is diagnosed by the ZB with an illness, they then support them through life. And our third partner, who have been with us every step of the way, they run a family laboratory and have done for 25 years in Jordan. They initially helped screen all our babies. They then trained all our staff. And today, any test that needs further investigation, they do it for us free of charge. What if we'd never found our partners? Would the ZB Foundation even exist? In the early days, it was quite obvious that we were being guided by a guardian angel. We were testing babies 2.5 years later in 2015, and by the end of the year, we tested our very first baby in our own lab in Islamabad. Our mission had finally become a reality. Never in my wildest dreams that I would have believed that this had happened, but with love, passion, and the determination that no other baby would ever go through the painful death that Zara went through. I simply could never have allowed this. The foundation is a registered, licensed, and audited NGO. And with the personal donations that we have received, we have managed to test nearly over 20,000 babies in the north and central Pakistan, and soon to be the south. We have a team of 11 staff, all honoring Zara's name, with my father-in-law as the chairman and one of the top pediatricians in the country, Dr. Raza, as our spearhead. We now have some of the most accurate results for child mortality and birth rates in the country. And even though we've been testing babies sporadically, our results have shown that 1 in 1,000 babies have some form of medical disorder, not to mention the amount of babies we lost at birth. I always saw myself as a mother, but I never ever imagined I'd be running a foundation in my late daughter's name. And I've never had any experience in the medical field. But I made a promise to my daughter. I promised her when I held her dead in my arms that I would never let this happen to any other child and go through the horrendous death she did, and to our family and other families. But what if I'd allowed my pain of losing Zara simply fester and not converted it into a mission to save other children? Through the pain of losing Zara also comes so much hope. We were very fortunate to adopt another baby girl from Pakistan, and 3 months later, I fell pregnant with twins. This had to have been an angel, right? Zara's made me strong. She's shown me that where there's a will, there's a way, and that love never dies. Great things are happening for the foundation, with our final goal being to give the Pakistani government enough evidence to make newborn screening mandatory on a national level. We have a book coming out next year, and my husband is just about to take on the biggest journey of his life as he runs 250 kilometers over 6 days through the Sahara Desert, pushing himself to the max in order to raise awareness for the foundation, but knowing that Zara will be by his side, giving her daddy strength to push through, breaking boundaries, and reminding him and all of us that anything is possible and life has no limits. So let me tell you, next time someone asks you, do angels exist? Tell them Zara's story. Tell them about this angelic baby that came from the mountains, met a couple, moved to Dubai, and through a whirlwind of love, sadness, heartache, passion, and determination, made it possible to give every baby in Pakistan the chance that they would never have received. What you have to understand about the what ifs and the answers is that we don't live by the words what if. We live by the answers we choose to define. In my case, and in Zara's story, the answers I choose is to make the impossible possible. Now, before I leave, as a family, we live and breathe my daughter, Zara. Her message is there every day. And it's very clear that my 3 children talk about her, live her, breathe her. And I was so nervous about doing my talk today and didn't really know what to write, that she actually, my 6-year-old Amara, went to another room and decided to write my speech for me. And she did it all on her own, and I thought it would be something lovely to share with you today.
Part 1. Me and Akbar had a baby called Zara. She was born in Pakistan. She was also born in another lady's tummy. She died because she did not have an injection in her heel. So she went to heaven, and she gave me and Akbar a present. It was a baby, and she was also born in Pakistan and in another lady's tummy. So me and Akbar had to go back to Pakistan. We got the baby and me and Akbar had to go back to Pakistan. We got the baby and went back to Dubai. And when I named her Amara, I also got birth with two twins babies. And then part 2. And that's when we started the ZB Foundation. We make sure babies are healthy. We go to Pakistan because it's where most of the babies are. Most of the sick babies are.
Thank you.